Okay, everyone. Hello. Welcome to Get More Clients. I'm your host, Lynn Whitbeck. Business owners and entrepreneurs hire me to ignite winning sales because most are chasing down leads, lack client retention, conversion, and profits. The mission of this show is to educate, inspire, and motivate women around the world to build a robust sales strategy to get more clients because most can't get more clients and haven't a clue why. You will learn to transform thinking to the client's perspective, eliminate the lengthy, chaotic sales cycle to ignite your sale and unleash lasting profits. And you will also have the opportunity to connect with me further to see how I can support you beyond today. And speaking of today, here I am joined by Rachel, the Petite to Queen Director of Content. I want to tell you a little bit. Hi, Rachel. So Rachel is a social sorceress, legal, or I should say regal researcher, content princess, and luscious writer. And last week, we learned how to direct your authentic sales to reach motivations and emotions. Today, we will share last-minute revealing, instructive advice to your surprising queries. So in this episode, I will be answering your questions sent to us via direct message, email, and have been asked on past Q&A sessions that occur every week after our live show. And by the end of today's show, you will know how to get started with client thinking when you are new to the market, apply growth mindset techniques to gain confidence and assurance when things go sideways, position yourself for easy, authentic follow-up to move the client and sale forward. And I got the questions just before the show, so I had enough time to prep my little intro, but that's about all I got. And I want to tell you, please keep sending us your questions, and joining us on the live. We love hearing from you. And I want you to put this in your calendar right now. You can join us every week at 8 a.m. Pacific on Wednesday. And you can join us here on the Win-Win Women Network. And if you go to the Win-Win Women website and just 2 minutes before the show, you can join us live. And then you will be in our question and answer that occurs after the show stops streaming. That's 7:50 a.m. Pacific every Wednesday. And of course, you can join us here on Facebook Live as well at the same time. Welcome, everyone. So Rachel, why don't you go ahead and take it away and tell me what you've got for me today?
Yeah, so as Lynn, you mentioned, I collected questions coming in from around the world. They came through LinkedIn, Instagram, messages to Lynn on LinkedIn, by the way. They came in through email at jointheconversation@petitetoqueen.com. Anywhere else? Oh, and Facebook. Got so and then Lynn, you mentioned that you have a question yourself that you wanted to answer as well.
Oh, no, that was the question that you had sent that I know was asked during one of our live Q&A sessions after the show. I recognized it because I skimmed them briefly so I could put my intro together.
Right. Of course. So yeah, I'll just go ahead and go with the first question. This one came in through our Instagram, through a DM. This is coming from Jacqueline in Cleveland, Ohio. She says, "Hi, Lynn. Your show is all about tapping into client thinking, and I think that's a fantastic strategy. I'm new to both sales and my industry. I don't have any previous or current clients that I can interview, like you suggested in episode 2. How can I tap into client thinking?"
Okay, well, this is a great question because many of you are getting started in your business and you don't have past clients. So the interview process isn't very, doesn't work in that sense. However, you can use the interview process and sort of flip the switch on it. So what I want to say is that you use it as a validation call. So instead, you modify the questions so that they're geared towards what you're planning to sell, whether you're a coach, if you're selling a product or service, whatever it happens to be, but then, ask them about their pain points around that issue. So you would basically be switching out how you're asking questions and then But once again, you want to make sure that you're not asking leading questions that put ideas into their head. Instead, they really think about it and then give you their honest input that you can use to make sure that your product or service, the program, the coaching that you're planning to provide, whatever that is, aligns with what they're looking for. And so it's a different twist on that. So that's one thing that you can do. And you can interview people that you perceive would be your ideal clients. And it's, those can be people also that you've been connected with in the past via LinkedIn or Facebook, or you've got a connection with them through Instagram. You know them personally, so that you can ask them to do that and just let them know it's a 30-minute interview. You want to go through the new business that you're launching, and you'd really appreciate their expert advice and input, because they are experts in their area. And you may have to ask several people, but you're going to get some yeses. Absolutely. If you don't ask, you don't get. And then you're going to be able to go through that process. Now, the other thing is that when you're putting your client thinking together, I had recommended a couple tools called Answer the Public and Rachel, what is the other one? It's because Answer the Public is a paid program. And then there's another one, but you can also let Google be your friend, but you're basically looking for those long tail searches. And it's called People Also Asked. So that one is free, but you can put in the topic, 2 to 3 words about what you're planning to provide as a product or service. So once again, you sort of tap into what is that going to be? Maybe you're planning to make a product that is a special, baby bibs that are really unique. So I'm just making this up as I go, people, but you would put that in and see what people are looking for in that long tail search. That's going to give you quite a bit of insight about where their head is coming from. And then you can actually take some of those long tail searches that come back from Answer the Public or from People Also Asked. And then you can take those and actually put them into Google and see, well, what were the articles? What are the things that pop up? That really gives you an idea of what people are looking for. And that gets you sort of centered into their mind as to what's important to them, what matters to them, why it matters to them, what area of concern are they trying to address, what pain point will it solve? And ultimately, so they can what, And so when you put that perspective and those lens on, you can really bring in a whole bunch of additional information. And as I had mentioned in previous episodes, as you go through your ideal client avatar exercise and you've done all that research, then you can actually go back, and that gives you even more, ammunition so that you can rethink your client thinking. So the thing is, you always want to start with client thinking, because that really gives you, it's still primarily from your perspective as to what the client is thinking, but you do the extra work so that you can formulate that. And then from there, you get all the information on your client avatar. And that helps you then go back to the client thinking. Just like anything, there's always iterations, okay? Because that's that continuous process improvement. But you start with the client thinking, then do your client avatar, then go and refresh your client thinking. Then you can build out all your buyer personas and make sure you've got the emotions and the motivations tied into that. So I hope that answered your question. And Rachel, I think I'm ready for number 2.
Excellent. So this one came in by email at our join the conversation at petitequeen.com. That's a great way to get into contact with us if you have any questions of your own. So Pooja in Alberta, Canada says, in episodes 24 and 25, you said that guest podcasting is a great way to attract more leads. How should I go about getting on podcasts? Should I make a pitch to the show hosts? I wouldn't feel comfortable just emailing someone out of the blue. So what do you have to say for Pooja?
Okay, well, Pooja, first of all, it can be really hard actually to find the email of the show host potentially. The number one thing that I reviewed in that episode was to join some of the podcast directories. There's a number of them that I recommend. And on our website, appetitetoqueen.com, and I think it's /grow, but you can just go to our tools and resources. It's the how to leverage guest podcasting to grow your business. It's our masterclass on that. It's free. You can just you'll opt in, but it has a tool sheet that we list all the tools that we recommend. And on that tool sheet are the podcast directories that I recommend. Matchmaker FM. It's no, it's not it's a matchmaking for podcast hosts and show hosts. Okay. Podcastguest.com, Podmatch, Podbooker. And some of them have free accounts so that you can set up your profile. And then from there, you're going to get recommended podcasts, and you can actually do outreach to the podcast host directly from those platforms. Now, that's a great way because they're on those platforms and they'll look at your inquiry and they'll let you know yay or nay. So the key is to remember the client thinking. Why would you be a great guest for this show host? And that's my advice. Remember, go through at least the last 20 to 40 episodes. Make sure you're providing them something that's fresh and that would appeal to their audience. Look at what they've been talking about. And then you provide that information to them. So you can suggest a topic title or titles. Don't give them more than 3 options, but that are all unique and fresh, but that fit their show description and what they've been talking about. It's like I said, it's something new. It's a twist on something, and that will really engage their interest. And then remind them that you will be sharing the episode far and wide. You'll post it onto your website for those valuable backlinks, and you'll be sharing it on all your social and in your newsletter. Even if your newsletter audience is 100, it could be highly engaged 100 people. That's still providing them with extra reach and exposure, which is incredibly valuable to the podcast host. So use your client thinking cap as you're making that presentation. And those platforms are the quickest and easiest way to make those connections with the show hosts so that you can get booked on the shows.
Fantastic. So this was the Q&A question from way back in the day. So Josefa from Fortaleza in Brazil.
I remember.
Had asked this question. So I took it from the transcript. She said, I like what you said about the importance of follow-up in this episode, which was episode 11. But I really struggle with this. I hate to feel like I'm hounding people. I know that people get busy and have a lot of stuff going on, and I don't want to add to their stress, but I also don't want a lead to go cold. What advice do you have?
Okay, I do remember this question. And one of the things that I told her at the time is that I'll be going deep dive into follow-up in future episodes, but this is my advice. I want you to remember about thinking about follow-up. Follow-up is an opportunity for you to deliver additional value to your clients. And you're not hounding them when you are bringing them value. Okay, so just flip your mind switch, flip the switch on that. If you're coming and telling them new information, valuable information, then of course they want to hear that. So I'm going to tell a little story. Back in the day of my corporate sales, I was pursuing a client and I'd had that initial contact and feedback. We'd actually had a meeting, a very brief meeting, and then a little bit of other follow-up. And then he went cold. And he wasn't responding to my emails or my voicemails. And I went through a whole number of things that I will train you on for follow-up. But here's the key. Because I knew that I had something of value to offer him, that I could truly make a difference for him and his organization, which was a large corporate account, by the way. What I did is that every time I called, I would lead with a voicemail. So there's a triumphant triangle. I led with a voicemail. Then I would send it as an email. And then I would follow up 3 days later with that same information. And with him, I was connected with him on LinkedIn. So I would send it as a LinkedIn message. So when I started the voicemail, I went right into, I just saw a really valuable article that's on XYZ. This is what you've been looking at and looking for. And I'm going to go ahead and drop this in an email so that it's right at your fingertips, one click away. And this is why I think it's so important for you. I am so excited to have the next conversation. This is Lynn Whitbeck with, so then you slow your cadence. So I'm not going to go down through the whole thing, but that's sort of the scenario. And you are always thinking about for follow-up and outreach are directly interrelated. You have to have planned follow-up and cadence so that you aren't doing it too fast. But in that case, I've got the email ready to go. I hit send. So they get the voice message, then they get the follow-up. And then, as I said, 3 business days later, I send the same message that essentially was in the email, but I send it in a different format. In that case, I was connected with him on LinkedIn. That's the triumphant triangle, because people are busy. It's not that you're hounding them. It's that they got a million other things they've got to take care of. And in fact, when he booked the meeting with me, which ended up being a 3-hour lunch meeting, after months I was getting to the end of my follow-up plan. And he told me it was because every time I called, I delivered value. It was something he wanted to hear about, even if he didn't have time to click through or check it out. It was so refreshing that I was delivering something that mattered to him. Okay. And that call led to, to a 3-hour lunch, and we significantly moved the sale forward. And eventually that was an incredible new corporate account. But that is the key to follow-up, is think through what you can provide. So if you were a guest on a podcast, like the last one, you can share what you talked about. I talked about client thinking, and this is exactly what we talked about in our call and what you need to be working on. So give this episode a listen. It's going to give you a lot of great information. So the next time you're making that drive to run your errands, just put it on so you can listen to it, because people tend to listen to podcasts and they're solitary and they're talking directly in their ear. So, but that's just one idea, but all the different things. You just wrote an article, you just did a Facebook Live. You have a new checklist that you've put together and you want to make sure that they receive it. But always it's, what is it? Why does it matter to them? So they can do what with it? Put it in that framework. So there you go.
Fantastic. And this one came in through Facebook. I really like the way she begins it. So this is Vera from Manchester in the UK. So she starts with, help. The service I sell is useful for a really wide range of people. Nearly everyone could really benefit from it. Your episode on building your ideal client avatar, and I think she was probably referring to episode 5, is really good, but I'm still struggling. How can I create a useful ideal client avatar when I have such a wide audience?
Okay, so what you have to do is you have to first start with the different industries. So like you said, you have a wide range of people that could use this. So you're really going to start with what that is, or what are those different silos. They could be industries, they could be job roles, they could, depending on your product or service, it could be, where people are at in their stage of life, whatever that happens to be. But think of it in terms of, you said you have this wide range. Well, how would you categorize that range? So put those into a list, and I usually sort of visualize it as a list that with columns. So you have at the top of the column, well, what's that group, that segment. So this is really called market segmentation. And so that's where you're going to go, okay, well, I could sell to this industry in these job roles. Let's say if you're doing a B2B, but I can also sell to this industry, same job roles, but a different industry. So they have different pain points. They have different areas of concern. But as you do that, and you're going to get this big list, like it's a massive brainstorm session. You could also use MindMap or some other tool like that for this. Now, I want you to look at, where is the low-hanging fruit? Where do you have really good industry experience? And so as an example, sales strategy, I could sell sales strategy to anyone, right? Everybody needs sales strategy. I've been a sales consultant and I work with a large variety of markets, but there are certain industries that I'm not very familiar with, like insurance, or, except for being a purchaser of insurance, right? But there are so many different little nuances in that and regulations. I don't talk the lingo because I'm not really familiar with that industry except as a consumer. So very little knowledge. Whereas construction, I have a lot of information on that construction area, because not only did I work with contractors and equipment manufacturers for construction, but my dad was a contractor. So, and so I have a lot of exposure to that industry. So when you're going through that market segmentation, what's a really good fit? What's that low hanging fruit for you? That's what you need to tap into, because that is going to help you then focus your energy. Because when you're speaking to everyone, you're speaking to no one. And I believe it was Marie Forleo who said that, but whoever did, it's brilliant. And the whole point is that you need to focus your energy on the best fit. Now, there could be more than one. So maybe there's like 3 different or 4, but don't get beyond that. But then do the ICA exercise, your ideal client exercise, for each of those separately. When you've done that, then you look for what are the similarities, because in closely related fields or client avatars, those market segments, then you can find things where you can speak to that broader audience that's still not wide like this, but broader like this, because then you're going to have smaller niches, right? So that's how you would do that. And then you'll have a general, really sort of look and feel for that broader avatar. And then you can niche it down for the specific avatars to make sure that you're answering their areas of concern, their pain points, why it matters to them. So that's included in the content, just like you would with personality coding, so that you're hitting every personality code in your content. That way, people see themselves and they go, oh, she's talking to me. So I hope that helps and answers your question. And thank you so much, Vera.
Yeah, and also, Vera, I think that it would help for you to listen to, or maybe re-listen to, episode 4 of Get More Clients, titled How to Define and Segment Your Market for Unparalleled Success. I think that'd be really useful for you.
Thank you, Rachel.
Okay. And our final question comes in through Lynn's LinkedIn. It comes from Sini in Turku, Finland. And she writes, Lynn, I'm so excited to hear that you're launching a membership program. What can you tell us about it?
Oh, I will absolutely love to say that. And thank you so much. I'm, one of my good friends is Finnish. And so I've ended up making a bunch of connections with women in Finland. And so hello to everyone there. I think that when the membership program, that's what you wanted to ask me about, right? So the membership program, Get More Clients membership, I'm so glad that you asked. We are launching the brand new program. There are 5 levels in Get More Clients. The Get More Clients Secrets, that's the first level. And then we have Roadmap. Then we have Strategy, Accelerator with the brilliant Leslie Nace. I bring her in to do core communications, which is so critical for sales. And our final, which is exclusive, where we will review and provide direction on your sales calls or your recorded Zoom meeting, presentation, and whatever, maybe it's a general strategy session, whatever you do for your business, and then we'll give you that evaluation in exclusive. But in strategy, which is and they all stack. So in other words, when you sign up for secrets, you get everything that's in secrets. But if you sign up for roadmap, you also get everything in secrets. And if you sign up for strategy, you get everything in roadmap and you get everything in secrets. So hopefully that makes sense. You can move up and down so you could start with exclusive so you can get those sales calls and your presentations reviewed every month. And then once you really feel like you've got that, you could then move back to accelerator, let's say. All right, so that's how they all work. In secrets, it's a workshop. So it's a live, everything is delivered live. You're not tossed into Kajabi or Teachable. This is all live. And you're in a group community of other business owners and entrepreneurs just like yourself, like-minded people who are very focused on building long-term relationships based on worthy intent that truly desire to help and serve others. So you're part of that collaborative community. And when you get the workshop, we go through a training, we do a deep dive into a training, far more extensive than what I do on the show. And you get all the exercises or worksheets and guides that go with that training so that you actually have the forms that are all templated out so that you can then do that work. So you're ready for the next workshop, you're ready for the next piece. So that's secrets. In roadmap, you have group coaching consulting sessions where you have focus seats and the ability to ask me anything, or we also then work on that execution of the sales strategy from the workshop that was trained on, and making sure that you've got everything just the way you want it so that you can move your business forward. So it's taking that immediate action. In roadmap, we add another second group coaching session and private coaching with yours truly. In accelerator, we add, of course, the incomparable Leslie Nace for core communications and how that ties into your sales strategy. So there are 2 additional group coaching sessions every month. And I already mentioned what you get in exclusive, that incredible review of your presentation so that we can help you grow and evolve and get better and better at what you're doing very quickly. Those are the programs. You can find them on our website at petitetoqueen.com. You just go up to the top of the navigation programs. They're right there. I've got some videos so you can find out all about them. I am so thankful that you asked that question. And once again, hello to everyone and all my fans in Finland. Thank you so much for tuning in. And thank you, Rachel, so much for going through all the questions that we have come in, which I do try to make sure that we always answer directly via DM or email or on the LinkedIn messaging. So thank you so much. My purpose is for you to get more clients. Bottom line, don't make this harder than it has to be. Sales should be a win-win. On behalf of the Win Women Network, I have carved out a limited number of time slots to invite you to hop on and ignite your sales call with me to see what's working, not working, and what you would love to have working. I'm going to see how I might further support you in effectively generating more leads, converting more sales, and fulfilling on your promise as a brand and organization. The fastest way to success is to assure people know that they matter. And the best way to make this happen is to build a consistent sales strategy to acquire, convert, and capitalize on every lead. You will find growing your business is easy and lucrative. Today, I shared the last-minute revealing instructive advice to your surprising queries. The key is for you to implement these steps to stop wasting time, energy, and resources. You have the opportunity to jump in and get the support you need for true success. Say yes to you and get on a call with me. I am really, truly gifted at this, and you deserve a shortcut to your success with the right support. Go to p2q.link petite.queen.com/win-win. And I'm going to say goodbye. Remember, you can connect with us at petite-to-queen.com. And I will see you next week on Get More Clients.